Hello, everyone! Welcome to the Gamer Agenda podcast, where our agenda is to be gay
and play games.
I'm Spider Star You, a sassy gamer from New York who keeps it real and keeps it 100.
And I'm Dreddians, a gay-ass artist and professional primate pal.
This is episode 13 of our podcast. And today's agenda... Oh, Dreddians, do you want to know what today's agenda is?
What's that agenda?
Well, the agenda is, it's not just an agenda, it's also an announcement of a new mini-series in our Gamer Agenda podcast. We're going to be covering queerness in children's media. So, we have a little mini-series going on where we're going to be talking about some examples of queerness in children's media, whether it be upfront, whether it be more undercover, like queer themes that, maybe some straight audiences may not notice and whatnot. And today's agenda is not just that, but it's gonna be about the Muppet Babies. So
Muppet
there was babies, we make our dreams come true. So there was a Muppet Babies episode like about 2 years ago, actually. So this was like a while ago.
The new Muppet Babies, not the original one.
Yeah, not from the 80s. The 2010. Oh my god, 2010s. Oh my god, 2010s, 2020s. Yeah, and they had an episode about Gonzo-Rella. Where Gonzo, that famous creature, like what the heck is this dude? Mm-hmm. Gonzo, that one. He had an episode. There was an episode about him wanting to dress up in a princess dress. So before we even get into the topic, why don't I read the synopsis for the episode?
Yeah.
I highly recommend, by the way, all our listeners, if it's available on YouTube, so if you want to check it out yourself, you can easily watch it.
It's barely 12 minutes. It's a show for kids, so, you don't really have to, there's not really much you have to do to watch it. It's very straight to the point, just a parody of Cinderella.
Yeah, very straight to the point. So I highly recommend it, but, here's the synopsis of the episode that I wrote up about the episode. So here we go. Miss Piggy and Summer make invitations to their party they're having called the Royal Ball. The Muppet Babies learn about Cinderella. Gonzo sees Cinderella and is fascinated by her dress and her shoes. He says he wants to wear that to Miss Piggy and Summer's Royal Ball, but according to the rules of the Royal Book, the girls wear dresses and the boys have to dress as knights. This disappoints Gonzo very much, but with the help of Gonzo's fairy rat father, he uses some magic to give Gonzo a very beautiful dress, thus enabling him to go to the royal ball undercover. When at the ball, the rest of the Muppet Babies don't recognize him. Gonzo introduces himself as Gonzo-Rella. Throughout his attendance to the royal ball, Gonzo does everything his own way. Goes against the royal handbook, so that, curtsying his own way, making a crown his own way, even doing his little dance his own way, a little promenade his own way. And just like Cinderella, the magic wears off after a while, so Gonzo-Rella has to run out of the royal ball before they see his secret identity. The babies catch up to Gonzo and tell him about the amazing princess they met, and then Gonzo confesses that it was him. The babies were surprised and said, "Gonzo, why didn't you tell us?" And Gonzo comes clean and he says, they all expected him to look a certain way, dressing like a knight, not like a princess, and he didn't want to upset them. But at the same time, he doesn't want to do things just because that's the way it's always been done. In his words, "I want to be me." The babies apologize and affirm to him that he's their friend and they like him any way he is. The babies end up ditching this royal handbook of rules and decide they'll make a new one where everyone can dress however they like. The ending scene shows them dancing in Gonzo's promenade, with Gonzo dressed up as Gonzo-Rella in his dress, Kermit and Fozzie dressed up in pink, Miss Piggy and Summer dressed up as knights, and Animal dressed in his own rock style with the crown he made at the royal ball. Everyone's dressed how they want, and everyone was themselves, and everyone was happy, and they lived happily ever after. So yeah, that was what the episode was about. That's basically the synopsis of what happened in the episode. Again, highly recommend you give it a watch. It's really quick, and it's available on YouTube, and it's really cute. It's totally adorable. But we're gonna be talking about this because this is very polarizing in our media today. Any sort of queerness is already polarizing, but now you have queerness in children's media. Oh my gosh, everyone goes nuts. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted me and Dreddians to do this topic because we are queer adults. but we obviously younger, we were queer kids, like we were queer teens, like we know what it's like to grow up like that, so we have, you know, an interesting perspective on this. I think it's very important to hear, right?
Yeah.
So let's get into the topic. Let's get into the questions of, you know, this important, because this is, you know, real quick, this is important, guys. It's very important to talk about these things that may be polarizing, and may be, you know, people may disagree. You know, even within our own community, gay community, queer community, there will be people who disagree with us and things we say. Because what do I always say, Dredians? Gay people,
Not a monolith.
queer people,
Not a monolith.
we're not a monolith, so we're not going to agree on everything. But again, this perspective is still very important. So let's start. I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to give Dredians the mic for this. I'm going to ask the question. Okay. Queerness in media is already very pervasive. Queerness in children's media even more so. What is your take on queerness in children's media? And, you know, and is there a limit? And what is safe to show and what is not? Dredians, I give the floor to you.
I mean, I really think the limit goes the same as when you present a heterosexual relationship in kids' media. Like, if we're on the subject of controversial kids' cartoons, I'm pretty sure there was an episode of Bluey, the little show with, like, the little dog and her family.
Yeah.
It's like an Australian cartoon, but it's like the new Peppa Pig. Like, kids love Bluey. Pretty sure there was an episode of Bluey about pregnancy that got banned in the U.S. because it was, like, too mature for kids. It was like the main dog Bluey and, like, her little sister Bingo learning about, like, where babies come from. Because, you know, in real life, you know, a little kid is gonna see, you know, their mom or some other person with a baby bump. They're gonna be like, "What's that?" But yeah, it got banned because it's like, oh, you kids shouldn't be hearing about this, but it really wasn't that bad. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be talking about sex or transitional surgery in graphic detail to a kid, but kids are going to be out with their parents, and they're going to see gay people or trans people or a pregnant person, and they're going to be curious. So they deserve to know what these things are and why they happen. You know, why people decide to change their gender identity or love the people they love, or you know, how human beings in general are created and made. You can teach them these things without getting to the more adult side of things, and you can help them understand it. I think we've talked before on the Purple Pamphlet episodes about how kids are deliberately held back from learning proper sex ed because people think even just mentioning genitals in an educational or scientific context is grooming them. But it's like, kids gotta know what their parts are. It's like, you know, I'm sorry to tell you guys, but babies have penises, babies have vaginas, and so do little kids, and they deserve to know what these parts are and how they work and what they're used for, and teaching them that is not fucking grooming them. So, like, you know, people get mad about kids' cartoons that even teach, like, heterosexual stuff, like a man and a woman having a baby. Like, obviously, I know, you know, pregnancy isn't limited to just women, but you know, like, you could have the most basic, like, mom and dad couple, like on Bluey, and you know, people still get mad. It's like, oh, you're teaching them about sex. It's just really stupid. So, like, you know, it's no wonder something as innocent like Gonzo-Rella got a lot of hate, because you can't even, like, you know, you can't teach gay stuff. You can't even teach a lot of, like, hetero stuff to kids because it's just like grooming. Oh.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points about that, because, you know, it's very pervasive. Even there's some hetero stuff that is, you know, very pervasive as well. But also, let's not kid ourselves, because, you know, most hetero stuff is okay for... These people think hetero stuff is okay for kids to see. Look at all these Disney couples, you know, the hero and the princess, and they kiss and whatnot, and that's seen as normal. So, oh, well, this is normal, so of course it's okay to show my kids. But this gay stuff? Oh, you're trying to make my kid gay. You're trying to make them trans. It's... Here's my thing. Here's what I think. I don't think there's anything wrong at all with showing gay people, queer people, any sort of people in children's media. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The limit is, You know, obviously nothing sexual, right?
Yeah.
Obviously that's of course, that's like duh, it's for children. Of course nothing sexual. But, you know, but the problem is, I think with so many, you know, conservative people, they think just being gay, the act of being gay in a relationship, that is very sexual to them.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest problem, because heterosexuality, straight couples, that's not sexualized. That's considered normal. But God forbid two men or two women, it's like, oh, here we go. That's super sexual. Oh my God. Every time I look at two gay men, I just think about them having sex. It's like, oh my God, you know, God forbid, you know, people have sex, but, you know, that's not what it's about. A couple can exist without you thinking about them having sex. Right? Two gay men, two lesbian women, or even a queer couple that is non-binary. You know, that's not just sexual. Right? Again, there's nothing wrong with them being sexual, but in every context, it doesn't have to be sexual.
You're kind of the creep if you're looking at some random couple and thinking about them having sex. That's creepy.
That's really creepy. And the thing is in straight couples, no one thinks about that. No one thinks about, ooh, look at this man with this woman. I bet he does this to her. Oh, I bet she does this to him. No one thinks like that. But you see, especially to gay men, especially, ooh, I wonder who's the top and who's the bottom. Ooh, like there's so much what's that word? It's like there's so much like scandalousness, like, ooh, what are they doing? It's like, no, mind your business. That's what they're doing. They're minding their business. You need to mind your business. That's what it is. And it's unfortunate because we can totally exist without the context of, so in terms of like children's media, we can exist without there being anything sexual. We're not gonna be talking about butts and things like that in children's media. Right? Look what a good example, Arthur. You remember Arthur Dredians?
Yeah, oh yeah.
They had this was like years ago, which this will be another good example of something we could talk about in the future.
Oh,
in
the
more
gay
detail. Marriage? Yeah. They had Mr. Ratburn, I think his name?
Yeah, Mr. Ratburn, yeah.
And they had him in a marriage with a man. And that was a shock to everyone. I never thought Mr. Ratburn was gay. But when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And it was totally in the perspective of the kids. The kids weren't focused on he was gay. They were like, oh my God, he's going to leave, not be our teacher anymore. And then when they found out, oh, the surprise is that he's getting married. Like, he was in a relationship with that guy who worked at the candy shop, giving chocolates and stuff. It was such a cute episode. And it's like, you know, little things like that, you see how it can exist without it being a problem. Because it's not a problem. It's normal. It's everyday life. Kids are going to go out there in the world and they're going to see gay people, right? You can't hide them from that. They're going to see two men in a relationship. They're going to see two women in a relationship, right? Only thing that needs to be explained is that, hey, Jimmy and Bob love each other. Jasmine and Kelly love each other. That's it. They're in a relationship. That's it. Nothing more needs to be explained, right? So they can totally exist without it being an issue. So that's my stance on it, right? Now, if we go into themes of more upfront stuff, we could talk about that in that context in the future. But even then, it's like, yeah, you gotta understand, conservatives, Christians, whoever, gay people exist. You can't hide them from the world. And hiding them from your children is going to give them a shock when they get older and they see it when they're teenagers or whatever, and they see it and they're going to be like, what the hell is wrong with these people? These people are weird. And it's like, no, we're not weird. It's just they do things differently, and your parents should have taught your sorry ass that this is how it is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take on it. And like we've already established, the limit is the same thing with heterosexuals, okay? It's not different. It's not, oh, well, we're going to be extra careful. No, it's the same limit. Nothing sexual, nothing, dirty, no, because it's children's media, right? So, same limit. No different limit. No, it's the same limit.
Yeah, and this can be it. This is its whole other glass of tea. But people want to talk about how having this Muppet in a dress is grooming our children. But there's you could go on a whole internet deep dive about kid shows that had fetish shit sneaked into it. There's that whole thing with Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider. Like, I'm sure everyone our age, like, remembers Drake and Josh and iCarly and shit. And, like, those shows were good, but, like, when you find out, like, how much of a fucking creep, like, Dan Schneider is and how many, like, scenes there were of, like, the underage female actors showing their feet on the camera, like, that's gross. That was allowed on TV because, people didn't realize, or, like, people didn't think anything of it. But a Muppet in a dress is going too far. All right.
Yeah, so little girls' feet is okay. Like, being up front, taking pictures and whatnot up on camera is okay. But, God forbid, a fictional character, a fictional puppet, Muppet, in a dress. Oh, no. A Muppet in a dress? Oh, they're trying to make my kids trans.
Clearly, this is America's downfall.
Clearly, not anything else. It's just, gay people and trans people. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a complete mess. All right, let's move on to our next question. What were your thoughts on the episode about Gonzo-Rella? What were some things you liked, and what did you notice? Dredians, take the floor.
I thought it was really cute. I like that it just wasn't about gender identity or wanting to change how you look, but more that you don't have to do things by the book in general. Like, Gonzo wasn't the only character who was going against what the royal book said. When we first see the boy Muppets meet with the princesses, they, I think it was Fozzie. He just came up to give him a high five, and Miss Piggy was like, knights don't give high fives, and then later, when they're doing the dance, the proper dance before Gonzo-Rella corrects them, or not corrects them, but, teaches them about, you can dance this new way. Animal was like, Animal want a boogie, and, Gonzo wasn't the only character who wanted to do something different. All the other characters were like, this isn't as fun as I thought it would be, let's do it this way. And, as we mentioned at the end of the episode, we see Gonzo in a dress, but we also see Miss Piggy and Summer wearing, like, a combination of dresses and knight armor. Animal was rocking his own style. Kermit and Fozzie were wearing pink. I think it's good to establish that, like, this idea that wanting to change one's appearance or doing something different from the norm doesn't always have to warrant this huge reaction, whether it's positive or negative. Like, I know there are some queer people out there who get kind of annoyed at, even if someone's supporting them, they get kind of annoyed at people making a big deal out of them being gay. It's like you don't need to throw a special party for me or whatever. I'm just a human, just like you. Not to sidetrack too much, but I know from personal experience, when I first came out, it was around high school, and I, just kind of offhandedly mentioned to my peers that I had a girlfriend, then girlfriend. They go by they, them now, but they were a girl at the time.
Yeah.
And people were like, "You're gay? You're gay?" Like, not in like a negative way, just kind of surprised. And I'm like, that's surprising? I mean, I felt like it was kind of obvious. My parents always told me that it felt, it's like, I sometimes I ask them, it's like, how did you feel when you found out I was gay? And, like, my mom and my dad are both like, I had a feeling. So it's like, some queer people definitely don't like having, their identity, people make a big deal out of their identity, even if it's, like, in a positive way. And I like that Gonzo-Rella, like, nobody is, like, shocked that Gonzo wants to wear a dress. They, at the beginning of the episode, Miss Piggy's like, oh, well, boys have to wear the night outfit. But at the end, she accepts it very quickly. She's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, you can wear a dress. But nobody's like, wow, Gonzo's so cool for wanting to wear a dress. They're just, they're very passive about it. Like, okay, he wants to wear a dress. That's cool. And another thing I found really interesting is, speaking of that scene near the end, when Miss Piggy talks about Gonzo-Rella leaving the ball, because, it's like Cinderella. Cinderella has to leave the ball, and she leaves her shoe behind. Miss Piggy says they left their slipper behind. She very clearly uses they them pronouns for Gonzo-Rella, and I like that because it also reinforces the idea that wearing a dress doesn't automatically make you a girl. Like, Gonzo wanted to wear a dress like Cinderella. And Gonzo's always been kind of a genderqueer icon, but like he doesn't express any interest in wanting to change his pronouns. He just wanted to wear the dress. So even when he assumes the identity of Gonzo-Rella, he's not immediately like a girl just because he's dressed like a princess. And the whole time he's going as Gonzo-Rella, like Gonzo-Rella's never referred to with any pronoun. So I like that because it means like the other Muppet Babies aren't automatically assuming Gonzo-Rella's gender just based on what they're wearing. So I think that's also another positive message to send to kids that like, A, you can wear whatever the hell you want, and B, don't immediately assume someone's identity just because of what they're wearing, because people can wear whatever they want. So I'm glad, because I know a lot of, like, media that tries to send a positive message like that, they get, like, an A for effort, but sometimes, like, a character will act in a way or say something that kind of maybe contradicts something or makes the landing a little awkward. But I'm glad that, the Muppet Babies team, very much kept this whole idea that, like, you can wear whatever you want and people shouldn't assume anything about you. They kept this whole theme throughout the whole episode, and I really like that.
Yeah, I loved this episode so much. I remember hearing about this episode, years ago when it aired in 2021, and it was, very controversial, but I remember watching it and I was like, this is so beautiful. Like, I thought it was such a beautiful thing because, I wasn't born in the 80s or anything. I'm a late 90s dude, mostly grew up in the 2000s. But, I remember going on websites like Retro Junk. Before YouTube was a thing, there was a website called Retro Junk. So I remember they had the Muppet Babies, the old one and stuff. So I was like, oh, like I love this because I've always loved the Muppets. And I loved hearing about the Muppet Babies. So when I found out there was like a reboot for like the newer generation of young people, children, I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, oh, that's so beautiful. And this episode was so beautiful. And I loved how it's simple enough for a child to get, but also as adults, like, we can look at this episode and see, like really dive even more into it and really examine it. And I thought this was such a great episode because you really see, I love how you see Gonzo and you see his perspective of, like, he feels, like, kind of conflicted because, like, he wants to wear a dress, but when he gets shut down, he feels so bad. And it's like, he just doesn't get, he's like, well, I don't want to make people upset at me. I just want to dress how I want to dress. And it's even more, more known, especially at the end of the episode where he says, something so many queer people can relate to. Whether you're gay, whether you're trans, that I don't want you to be upset with me, but I don't want to just do things because that's the way it's always been done. I just want to be myself. And so many queer people relate to that because we do at times get put into situations where we're like, oh, I don't want to make you upset, but, like, I just want to be myself. And that shouldn't be, like, a controversial thing. It's like, me being myself is just, that's how it is. It's what it is. And I just love how you see that conflict with him. And I love how also you see the babies react and, like, how Miss Piggy was so gracious. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, Gonzo. It wasn't really, and she saw what she did wrong. She's like, it wasn't very nice for us to tell you what to wear to our ball. And in Summer, like, you're our friend. We love you any way you are. That's how it should be. That's how people should react. Whether someone is gay, whether someone is queer, or if someone just wants to wear a dress, Because also, on the flip side of it, just because someone wants to wear a dress, it doesn't mean that you're gay or you're queer. We could see there's some examples of celebrities now. I think I forgot some of their names. Like Harry Styles is a good example, who I believe I'm not 100% sure, but I believe identifies as a straight cis man. But if he's worn dress, I believe so. God, correct me anyone if I'm wrong, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong about anything. But I believe he is a straight cis man, and he likes to he's dressed very femininely, in dresses and whatnot. And I just think that you got to give people the chance and the right to be themselves. Because yes, it can't, but it also can mean that they are trans or they're non-binary or whatever. It can definitely mean that too. Because it's all about exploring yourself and exploring what you like. And that's why I just thought it was so, like, the baby's reaction was so great. And I just love how Gonzo was just unabashedly himself. because he's just like, I'm Gonzo-Rella, you know. This is how I want to dress. I want to wear a princess dress.
So sorry to interrupt, but there's an important thing I should add here too. So Muppet Babies is produced by Tom Warburton, and Tom Warburton produced this episode too. So there's like a little behind the scenes like interview of him about the making of the episode. And, you know, he says that early on the plan was to make Gonzo appear in a skirt as if it were no big deal, because Gonzo is 200% Gonzo 347% of the time. But the writing team decided to take it further with the Cinderella arc. Warburton remarked that it was just so wonderfully Gonzo. We hope he inspires kids watching to be 347% of themselves in their own way too. So right off the bat, the purpose of this episode is not necessarily about like anything like, you know, hardcore queer, but like just teaching kids to accept themselves and accept others, which is the first step towards queer acceptance.
Yes. I actually didn't know that. That's actually really cool. Gonzo being 300, what was the number?
200% Gonzo, 347% of the time. Because, like, yeah, Gonzo's always been, like, a weird character. Like, the whole running gag with him in, like, the older Muppet skit is that, like, nobody knows what the fuck he is. Like, people say, you know, some people think he's like a penguin or a chicken or an alien or something like that. But the joke is that you never know what he is. He's just Gonzo.
Oh, and wasn't there a comic back then that like there was him going to a bathroom?
Yes. There is there's a comic from like the 80s, I think, where it's like Gonzo going towards the restroom, and you got the two restrooms, you know, men and women, and then Gonzo walks into a door that says whatever. So a lot of like LGBT Muppet fans have kind of like reclaimed that as like non-binary pride. Like obviously, like the Jim Henson Company's never like explicitly said anything about Gonzo's like sexual or gender identity, but you know, it's kind of supposed to be vague on purpose, you know. I think, you know, for certain cartoon characters, like, you don't have to know everything about them. Some characters are just kind of intended to be, like, a blank slate or, like, something you can project on.
Yeah.
But with Gonzo, like, yeah, he's always just been kind of, like, this weird guy doing his own thing. And that extends into the Gonzo-Rella episode, too. Because it's, like, it's not about Gonzo being trans or non-binary or whatever. He's just doing his own thing. And if you are trans and non-binary and relate to that, then good. It's supposed to, like, be a message for everyone. And you know, it relates to queerness, but it's also not, like, 100, 1 correlation, you know? And that's what I kind of like about it. Everyone can relate to it.
Yeah, it's something that everyone can relate to. And that's why I kind of said at the beginning, like, there's that undercover queerness, because it's mostly about just acceptance of oneself, which like you mentioned, that's the first step to queer acceptance, to gay acceptance, to be accepting of the LGBTQ people is the first accepting of themselves, and then accepting of these people who may be a little bit different, or maybe a little bit odd, maybe a little bit strange. I mean, that's why we use the word queer, because that's what the word means, like kind of unusual, kind of a bit strange, but that's the beauty of it. That's the amazingness about it. And I love how this is, like you mentioned, actually, this is a really good point, that this is something so many people can relate on in terms of just being different, and whatever it is. It could be that you go to a school and you're of a different ethnic background or a different race than everyone. You have a different culture, and you may feel so different, even though it's not different, it's just having a different culture. But that's something a lot of people can relate on. It's like, well, damn, I'm really different. And it's like, I didn't even choose to be different. This is just me being me. This is just how I was raised. Or it could be about maybe certain ideals you grew up with, or whatever, religion, or whatever the case is. You know, everyone can grow up so differently, and they can be perceived so strangely. And it's like, no, this is just that person being themselves. And really, truth be told, we should accept everyone for however they are, right? That Summer had it right when she said, you're a friend, we accept you any way that you are. That's how friends should be, right? I don't have friends to be my little judge and jurors, right? I have friends to be my friends, right? You don't have to like something to accept something, right? I don't, if we're gonna get into that, there's like behaviors someone does that someone cannot like, but it doesn't matter. They're your friend, right? They're not you're not asking you to be your judge or to control them. They just want you to accept them how they are. That's how it should always be, right? Period, point blank. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so yeah, me and Dredians love this episode of Gonzo-Rella. So let's move on to the next question. Some conservative people fear that watching something like this will make their kid gay, trans, non-binary, and or to start wearing dresses. What do you think about that? And can watching queer media make a child gay, trans, non-binary?
I think it's horseshit. Children, yes, even straight cisgender children don't decide their identity solely on what they watch on TV. Like, yeah, people joke about how certain TV characters made them gay, but it's not like the cartoon's literally sending out, like, brainwashing gay beams. They see something appealing to them on TV that makes them reconsider something about themselves. In the case of something like Gonzo-Rella, like, a little boy watching this cartoon isn't gonna immediately decide that he's, like, suddenly gay or trans or non-binary. He's gonna think, oh, it's okay for boys and girls to wear whatever they want. Because Gonzo wore a dress and his friends said that they'll like him no matter what he wears. And, when you say wear whatever they want is the key word here. Want implies a sort of consent here. Like you want to wear this. You're not forced to wear it. You want to wear it. The other boy Muppets still wear their masculine clothing for the rest of the episode. Like, yeah, Kermit and Fozzie, like, wear pink later, but it's still, like, their night outfit. Also, I forgot to mention this earlier, like, they're talking about the night outfits. Fozzie's wearing, like, fucking lederhosen. He's dressed like a little, like, German boy or something like that.
Hey.
But, everyone was throwing shit towards Gonzo because he wanted to wear a dress. But anyways, yeah, like, Gonzo's the only one that wears a dress. Like, the other boy Muppets are still wearing the boy clothes because that's what they want to wear. So the little boy that's watching this can still wear boy clothes if he likes those, but now he knows that, it's okay and that he's not wrong if he wants to wear something else. In my opinion, the kind of people who get mad about this sort of stuff are usually those who have a lot of baggage because they weren't allowed to do what they wanted, or they're just so indoctrinated with religious stigma or societal expectations that they're either too afraid to go against the norm or loathe the thought of it entirely. If you ask me, that's the real brainwashing and grooming going on there, that you get this mindset engraved into your frontal lobe that, like, it's bad to be different. You have to do men have to act like this, women have to act like this. If you do anything else different, you're wrong. And this Muppet Babies episode is just trying to say, like, hey, you can do whatever you want. Like, that's it. Like, point blank. It's so simple, but people, like, blow it up like it's some fucking, like, propaganda to make every boy in the U.S. wear a dress and be gay or whatever.
Or be feminine.
It's so stupid.
It really is. And this just brought up something that I meant to mention earlier in the last question, but I forgot. So let me just mention it now. Fozzie and Kermit wearing pink at the end. That is something that is still that's so crazy that it's 2023 and we still have to deal with this and hear this. But a lot of people today still think, usually on the conservative or Christian side, think that pink is a color for girls. And I love seeing them wear pink. I'm a man. I love pink. But I just think it's crazy that it's 2023 and we're still dealing with that baloney that, pink is for girls, blue is for boys. Like, no, being pink so, hey, Patrick. No, wearing pink should not be this pervasive thing. It's so crazy that it's like, oh, wow, you wore pink. Well, that's a color for girls, but okay, you could wear it too. No, pink is for everyone. Colors are for everyone. Colors don't have gender. Oh my god, I think it's the dumbest thing in the world where we still live in this world where it's like, ooh, this boy's wearing pink. I wonder if he's gay. Or, ooh, he's wearing pink. Like, what is that? He's so feminine.
He's got a pink phone. Clearly he's a giant faggot.
You're Right? Yeah. It's like, hold on, pink is just a damn color. Everyone can wear any color. Girls can wear blue, boys can wear pink, right? That it should not be a pervasive thing to wear a freaking color. Color is color. Colors are for everyone. Jesus, it's just something that annoys me so much. It's like I love seeing them wear pink, but it's so annoying to me that it's a pervasive thing to begin with. It shouldn't be. Oh God, it shouldn't be. Because I'm mentioning it because later on the line we're going to read some of the questions or some of the comments that some conservatives made about this episode, and some of them were like, oh well, they're also trying to push the agenda by Kermit and Fozzie wearing pink. Oh God, just please shut the hell up with that baloney. Color is color, man. We can wear any colors we want. Okay, sorry, mini rant right there, mini rant.
No, go off. It's so stupid.
Yes, it's so dumb. But getting back to the question, it wasn't too much of a different tangent. It's still kind of on trend.
Yeah, it's still on topic.
Yeah. No, I don't think at all that seeing any sort of queer media or gay media and children's media will make a child gay, trans, non-binary. I don't think that at all. I think it's complete fear tactics used by conservatives or by Christians to install fear into people, to be like, ooh, this media will make them gay or make them trans. No. You know what you're actually scared of? Gay people, queer people, listen up. They're not scared. They're not scared that they're going to make your child, that this media will make their child gay. What they're actually scared of is that this will give their kid the language, okay? The language to know what they are. Because so much of that movement of the conservatives, the far right Christians, the whole movement is to try to force their kid to be like them. So when you give them language that's like, oh, this is the language of what it means to be gay, this is the language of what it means to be trans or non-binary, that scares the hell out of them because they can't brainwash their kid to be like, no, this is evil. This is wrong. Oh, this is not normal. There's no people who think like this. Boys like girls and girls like boys. They're scared by seeing certain media like this that their kid will have the language. It's like, oh, boys can wear dresses, girls can wear, anyone can wear what they want. Or something like that. That's what they're scared of. That's what they're really scared of, because I'm sure that some of them really do think that, okay, just seeing this media will make their kid gay or trans or whatever. Some of them really are ignorant enough to think like that. But most of them are scared that that this acceptance of any sort of acceptance to queer people is going to make their kid accepting, and then if their kid is gay or trans or whatever, they're going to also be like, okay, well now I have the language, so I'm going to be that. They want to be able to control their kids to think a certain way, to be a certain way. And look, I'm not going to tell any parent how to parent their kids, but there's a difference between I'm parenting my kid my way and then I'm abusing my kid. Because we know who's the people who kick their kids out of their home the most? Conservative Christians. For what? Oh, my kid's gay? Get out of the house. Oh, you're trans? Well, you want to be trans? Okay, you could be trans, but you got to be out of this house. You can't be trans up in this house. I'm not going to invite that spirit to my home. So that's what this fear is. That's what it really is, It's the fear that these people, the young people, have the language to use. The language to know what they are. Because remember something, most of us, like me and Dredians, we grew up in like the 2000s. Yes, we had internet, we had phones. There was internet and there was phones and things like that. But there was not this... You didn't know where to find it. You didn't know where to find that information that you needed to really know about yourself. Like, I remember, for me, when I started to have an idea that I was gay, I didn't really know what to like look up, especially also because hey, this is the family computer. There's people around. But I remember looking up certain YouTube videos and things like that where people would talk about it, and I would be so weirded out at first, like, oh my god, this is so different. This is so weird. But watching those videos gave me the language, gave me the tools to know, like, oh, so that's what it is. So that's what I am. Because like it's a perfect mirror image. And I wasn't indoctrinated into it. I just knew that, okay, well, I'm different. I don't really like girls. And everyone's talking about liking girls. So what does this mean? And when I got that language, I finally like had a tool, even though I tried to deny it. I had the tools to kind of know what I am, you know? So I think that's what this is. They're scared that this gives them the language to know who they are. And that's sad because no, this media will not make your kid gay or trans or non-binary. You can't make what is not there. Because if that was the case, like what we talked about earlier, most of us would be straight. Because most of us are surrounded by straight media. We're surrounded by heterosexual couples, man and woman kissing, especially in public. Because straight people love to say, "Oh, I don't like public display of affection," but then have no problem kissing, humping, or grabbing each other up in public. But then, God forbid, a gay person just gives a little peck on the lips. Oh, hell no! You're trying to make my kid gay. You're trying to make them trans. You're trying to do something to my kid by doing that in public. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know a peck on the lips to show my love for my partner is so bad. But then, hey, straight people can literally grab each other up. A man could grab a woman's ass in public. A couple, and that's normal. Oh, look how in love they are. They just love each other. Yeah, okay. I see y'all. I see the hypocrisy. I see it. Yeah, I kind of went off right there.
Oh no, yeah, go off.
Because it's something that really gets to me. Because especially for me, because me and Dredians kind of grew up very differently. I don't want to speak for Dredians, but I believe Dredians, you grew up in a more liberal home, like democratic home, progressive home, where there's more the ideas are more ideas. Your family is more accepting of those ideas, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that my parents have definitely been confused about things and not understanding, but I would never I'd say they were never bigoted or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Totally. Well, for me, I grew up in a more conservative Christian family, so I definitely had lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of bigotry that I had to deal with or hear about. I had to hear. I talked about it in our first episode, our episode 0. I talked about how one of the first times I saw any sort of queer media, which was a picture of a man hugging another man from behind. And I remember my family was like, "Oh, we got to get this taken down. This is so bad. This is so wrong." And I remember thinking, I don't get what's wrong. It just looks like they love each other. I don't get it. And that's the thing. Most kids are not hateful from the start. They're the ones who bully people and stuff like that in school, "Oh, you're gay, you're weird." They're not bigoted from the start. They're taught these ideas that, "Oh, see, these people are abnormal. These people have problems." And it's all from it all stems from the erasure and the trying to put back in a closet gay people and queer people, because they don't want them to have the language. They don't want their kids, anyone to see it. So that's why look at this. Look what's happening with the school system, where it's "Oh, God forbid you teach any sort of queerness." It's "Oh, that's a problem. You're gonna try to make my kid gay by showing them this stuff." And it's no, we're just showing your kid that, or your teenager, that gay people exist and that they're going to see these people in the world. And also, this is around the age where people kind of know a little bit more about themselves, or starting to at least explore a little bit more about themselves. And they may have these feelings. So it's just, that's just a normal part of life. It's not teaching them to be evil, teaching them any of that. No, it's just accepting that people are different and that it's something that people are going to have to experience. Yeah, the whole crux of what I'm saying is no. Obviously, this media does not make kids gay or trans or non-binary. That's so stupid. It's so unintelligent to kind of limit this beautiful episode we just watched, Gonzo-Rella. It's so bigoted and so unintelligent to limit it to just, this is an entire ploy to make my kids gay or trans. Girl, please, bye, Felicia, bye. No, this is not trying to make your kid gay or trans. Jesus almighty, it's just to show you that people are different, and a lot of queer people relate on being different, being perceived as different, being othered, being marked different. It's kind of well, we don't really have a choice. We're kind of different from the start. So when all the boys are talking about girls and you don't really relate to that, it's I don't know, it's very different, and it's just showing people that people are different. Well, I kind of went off right there, so let's move on to the next question. Now this is the first time, the first in gamer agenda history where I literally just went totally off. But I feel like I hit on some very important points that can all be their own podcasts. Like certain things like that can totally be like their own entire episode to kind of delve into how this came to be, like those homophobic ideas, how they came to be. It's very important to talk about this because this is very multifaceted. This is not just one thing. This is like very multifaceted with how these people perceive this stuff and this media. So the next question is, let's look at some examples of specific things conservatives have commented on and give a rebuttal. Jodians, I went totally off. Can you please give some of your flavor to this?
All right, so the thing I see get talked about the most is that this singular male Muppet in a dress is pushing the trans agenda or encouraging kids to get gender dysphoria. And it's like, Gonzo never questions his gender once this entire episode. He never says, I wish I was a girl, or anything like that. He just wanted to wear a dress. It's less about teaching kids about trans people and more teaching them to be accepting of the way others can dress or act. And that can tie into transgender / genderqueer acceptance, but it's not a 1-1 correlation, if that makes sense. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
The first step to any sort of LGBT or racial or religious or whatever acceptance is to teach children basic tolerance, that some people will be different than you, and that's fine. And that's the point of this whole episode, that it's okay to be different, it's okay to go against the rules, it's okay to make your own rules. I also find it funny that people are getting mad at Gonzo for being in a dress and not something like Rizzo being the fairy godmother. It's like, fairy's a slang for a gay man if you want to take it that far. Also, girl, the Muppets have been gay. They've been gay for years. We mentioned earlier about how Gonzo's entire identity is about being confusing. And, again, while they've never specifically mentioned anything about his gender or sexual preference, you can definitely inject those sort of vibes into him. Remember, he's 200% Gonzo, 347% of the time. He's all about being himself. And that's what better role model for queer kids than that, to just be weird, be queer. Gonzo might not be outspoken gay or trans or whatever, but he's definitely queer in the weird sense. He's queer. And I think something more problematic about Gonzo than his love for dresses is that he's in love with a chicken. Did people forget about that? In the original Muppets, he fucking loves Camilla the chicken. Isn't that I don't know, can Muppets partake in bestiality? I feel like people should be more concerned about that than him wanting to wear a dress. What else? What other Muppets do we got? Oh, Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy's a total fag hag. I mean, she's got mad drag queen energy. And she absolutely takes the reins with her relationship in Kermit. She tops. She is the top. Kermit gets pegged. Don't even lie to me. We know it's true. Just think about it. Shouldn't seeing Kermit be, submissive? He's kind of almost like a house husband sort of type. He's very obedient and nice and gentle to Miss Piggy. Shouldn't that piss conservatives off more? Because, Kermit's being, a sissy or whatever, but they're focusing on the dress. And if you want to give, actual real-life examples, in 2017, the CEO of Chick-fil-A, showed his whole ass and said some really anti-gay statements, and people went on this whole, boycott on Chick-fil-A, don't give them your money, you're supporting, homophobes. The Jim Henson Company actually, pulled out of, they were gonna have a toy deal with Chick-fil-A. They pulled out of that when the anti-gay news came out. So that goes to show that they are not playing games. They don't fuck with homophobes. And that makes sense because, like, the Muppets and Sesame Street are all about teaching kids how to be nice and tolerant and learning, like, good ideals for life. They've been doing this for, like, 60, 70 years. They've been gay. And I think Gonzo-Rella is just, like, a modern take on the same sort of positive ideals that the Jim Henson Company's been trying to teach to kids for years. It's just, like, a new way of doing it.
Yeah, and people seem to have an issue with things that they really just don't understand. I'm looking at some of the comments, and for example, me and Dredian's linked a Fox News article about this that was released back in 2021, and we have like so many people in the comments. It's like, it's so heartbreaking seeing all this. Like, oh, Gonzo's a freak show. This is sad and disappointing. I feel bad for young children to have no safe spaces where they could just be kids and not be bombarded with political ideology and confusion. Let kids be kids. Stop this insanity with sex and gender. Enough already. It's like, oh my god. Oh, this is the collapse of our society. It's so, like, crazy.
It's a
like
Muppet in a dress! Y'all are so fucking fragile, and you want to call us snowflakes?
Yeah, oh, yeah, gay people are snowflakes, queer people are snowflakes. Oh, but y'all ain't the snowflakes, literally thinking that society is gonna collapse over a damn Muppet Babies cartoon about a Muppet in a dress. Oh my god. Oh, this is not as good as Paw Patrol. Oh god, oh my god, this comments. This is disgustingly perverted. The sickness is very deep with the LGBTQ community. No, the sickness is not deep. We're just normal people, man, trying to live our lives, right? We're just normal people trying to live our lives, and this type of media is so crazy. It's like, Dredian's mentioned this, literally this whole podcast. It's not, this specific episode is not specifically catered to specifically gay, queer people. This is not like, oh, we're gonna do this just for queer people. This is about the acceptance of oneself, about being able to wear what you want, right? It's to be different. Like, that's really what the whole episode is about, is being different. And it's like, it's just insane to me to have, how do you have a problem with someone being accepting of someone being different? It's like, oh, God forbid we don't follow your norms of how society should be. God forbid, it's like Dredian's even mentioned about the Muppets. God forbid that Kermit's not, he's not doing gender societal norms where he's supposed to be the man, he's supposed to be the tough one, he's supposed to be in control of the relationship, but instead it's actually Miss Piggy who's in control of the relationship, and more, the more
dominant.
What's the word? Dominant one. That's the word. The more dominant one. That's not following societal gender norms. And also, it's a freaking frog with a damn pig. Are we serious? Like, are we serious? Like, you're mad about a damn fictional Muppet creature that we don't even know if it's a penguin or a chicken or what, that's wearing a dress, but I mean, it's a pig with a frog, right? That doesn't set off anything in you, right? Like, come on. If we're gonna be focusing on things, can we actually focus on things that are actually pertaining to society? Not, oh, queer people exist, or oh, people like to be different. That's so messed up. I mean, I thought the whole point of us teaching our kids is that, hey, you could be whatever you want to be. You could be different. You could be whatever. But no, how these people think is, oh no, well, you could be different. It just has to follow my view of different. You can't stray too far away from what my idea of society is, because then you're too different, and then it's a problem. It's sad. And it's something you see with conservative media, even if you just go on something like Twitter. Twitter's a cesspool now. Twitter is just so, it's so bad. And it's like, you just see something and you just think to yourself, how do you think like that? Like, where did you go in society? Like, how were you raised to think so far from reality, where normal things or just people being themselves is such a problem? Like, it actually makes them bent out of shape. Like, reading these comments on this Fox News article, these people are genuinely bent out of shape. Like, this is not for show. This is not pretend. They genuinely were very upset that this was put in a children's cartoon. And they're so upset. They're so angry. This is indoctrination of America's children. Oh, I miss Felix the cat. He knew what was up. We've known the Muppets are Democrats. Take these Muppets, for instance, Pelosi, AOC, and Biden. Oh my god, these people are insane! These people are insane! The Muppets are Democrats? The Muppets are fictional puppets. They're fictional cartoon characters. They're not Democrats or Republicans. They're just freaking Muppets. Jesus. Oh, the Disney Corporation's a giant freak show. Damn, is nothing sacred anymore? I miss the Muppets when they weren't woke. Oh no, the Muppets are woke.
Oh no, shit. What's next? The Muppet Babies anti-vax episode?
Alright, Gonzo, time to get your vaccine. Oh god. So ridiculous. I guess we found the title of our episode, Muppet Babies Gone Woke.
Muppet Babies Gone Woke.
Oh my gosh. But I really think it's so important to read these things because you see the ridiculousness of this. You see that one of the many faces of gonorrhea? What the hell? Gonorrhea? What does that have to do with Muppet Babies?
I think they're calling Gonzo gonorrhea.
Oh my god. I'm not surprised by much anymore. The brainwashing of children continues and is aided by the Democrats. Freaking Disney, a truly evil company.
Yeah, I mean, Disney is an evil company, but not because of the gay representation in the Muppet Babies.
Yeah, they're evil for different reasons, not for this.
Child, Disney has done plenty of anti-gay shit. You don't give them the credit for this.
Yeah, like please, like it's like
they're on your side, dude.
Yeah, the most basic little nugget of thing, and it's like, oh wow, they're totally like for gays. It's like, no, they're
too
not.
far.
Our grandkids never want to watch Muppet Babies. Our kids loved it 35 years ago. What about the nose? Not even children are safe from the left alphabet mob. God created.
That's right. I forgot some people really call LGBT people like alphabet people or whatever.
I know, it's so dumb. Oh my god. God created a man and a woman. Devil created anything else. Leave the kids alone. First Arthur, then Sesame Street, now this nonsense. I'm glad my kid is out of that phase. Oh yeah, your kid's in a phase. Oh.
What phase? Being a child? Wanting to watch the Sesame Street?
The liberal brainwashing is freaking unending. What's next? Superman coming out of the closet and marrying Spider-Man?
I'd love to see that.
I would love to see that.
I mean, I don't know if it would work because, you need to do like a Marvel DC crossover, but I mean,
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
Why not? It's disease to brainwash young children thinking this is okay. Wow, even the Muppet Babies are woke nuts. There should be a disclaimer before watching shows like this that are allowed on. Well, hold on. There should be a disclaimer before shows like this are allowed to air, stating that this is stupid and morally irresponsible to let your kids watch it. Liberals have always been child molesters. They have patiently waited decades to reveal themselves, and here we are. Nah, man. You need to watch our Purple Pamphlet series, man. You need to watch that.
Yeah, maybe you keep an eye out on your local priest or cop or something like that. Not the fucking Muppet Babies writers.
Yeah, watch out for those priests, cops, youth pastors. Watch out for those. As we've seen, they've been guilty the most. Let me just read a couple more, and then we'll finish.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
But some of them might be good, so I want to just read a couple more.
Yeah, go.
The dumbing down of the human condition by poisoning the minds of children by Disney's pretzel logic pervasions. It's official. We're in hell. Gonzo-Rella sounds like a venereal disease. Disney, continuing its relentless march to irrelevance, one dumb decision at a time. What the hell is wrong with these people? A new level of woke stupidity. These woke morons have nothing better to do than to ruin everything they touch.
Do they have, like, any other insults other than, like, woke, and liberals or child molesters? That's, like, all I keep hearing.
That's pretty much all they have. Oh, look at this, by Still American. I am so happy my grandkids are being homeschooled. I initially hated it, but that has changed over the years. I now love it. Oh, yeah, nothing better than to
I'm sure they're learning a lot from you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sure they're getting all the schooling they need by some crazy conservative. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, let me read like two more.
Yeah, this is good.
Boys should not be dressing up and playing with dolls, and girls should not be playing with G.I. Joes and toy cars. Come on, people. If we don't stop this, before you know it, Bugs Bunny will start dressing like a girl and kissing Yosemite Sam. He has!
He had! What? Have you ever watched a single episode of Looney Tunes? He literally has!
He literally has dressed like a girl, and he has kissed Yosemite Sam.
Holy shit, you could say more about Bugs Bunny being a queer icon than Gonzo! Oh my god! What? What?
It's literally insane.
I'm gonna shit myself. What the hell?
Were they pushing the trans agenda or making fun of transgenders and being condescending to Gonzo-Rella? Probably pushing an agenda, but these things always look demeaning and full of dark humor.
Where? They were just, like, confused. That's it, because they're fucking kids.
Oh, this is funny. Oh, sure. First Pepe Le Pew, then Mr. Potato Head gone woke. Now the new woke characters move on to go to the void. What does China think, Joe Biden? Mr. Potato Head is woke? What? How is Mr. Potato Head woke? What is woke about Mr. Potato Head?
I guess that you could change his parts. I mean, man, like, imagine if transitioning was that easy. You can just pull your parts out like a Mr. Potato Head.
Oh my god, this is actually, like, educating to see the pure, like, insanity that goes on in these people's heads. Mr. Potato Head is woke? What? Where does this come from? I never even thought about Mr. Potato Head being woke. Oh my gosh.
Woke is one of those words I would be happy, like, never seeing again. It's just ruined.
It's totally ruined by the conservatives that think, like, the whole purpose of woke was, like, I believe it started in, like, black communities. And it was to basically be like, look, you gotta be on guard. You gotta be understanding that this stuff happens here in our country. So don't be foolish and, like, you know, put your head in the sand. No, you gotta stay alert to the crap that's going on to our people in this country. And then suddenly, like, the conservatives took it and, like, oh, everything's woke. Gay people woke. People of color woke. Woke. Everything's woke. It's like, oh, God. Like, you know, you just completely destroyed the word. Jesus. And it's just, you know, just like, you know, these people that just take other people's words, other communities' languages and words that are used for them, and then just ruin it and just corrupt it. Let me just read a couple more, because this is kind of funny. Just a couple more, and then we're done. We're done.
God, yeah.
I'd much rather have my kids watching Looney Tunes and the Three Stooges than this disgusting propaganda. And if the Muppet Babies isn't bad enough, they misspelled the character's name. It's gonorrhea, not Gonzo-Rella. They can't get anything right.
They keep doing the same joke over and over again.
Over and over again, the same old thing. Perverts can't die fast enough. I like to see some of the Muppet Girl characters do some hoeing. It's a profession. What the heck? Oh, because of that, hold on, that's just a Bible verse. They're posting a Bible verse. The Muppets have a trans character? What? The indoctrination of this mental sickness has to stop.
He's not trans! He's just wearing a dress!
This trans indoctrination of the mental illness has to stop. I know all in my family having smaller kids will be turning off this show. What idiot thinks this is okay? Oh, my kids are gonna be trans watching this. Oh my god. Yeah, I think that's as much as we can take. This is
I'm
just...
gonna lose. Yeah, you gotta stop. I'm gonna lose all my brain cells listening to this.
Wow. Yeah, these people are quite literally insane. This is sad. Like, it's funny to an extent, but it's actually sad that this is what they actually believe. Like, that's sad. Like, oh my god. And they just, like what you said, they're just parroting each other over and over again. Oh, this is woke. This is woke. This is woke. This is indoctrination. Oh my god. Gonzo-Rella? We're like gonorrhea. Oh my god. Literally, these people are literally like literal...
Grow up! Like, y'all are acting more immature than the audience this fucking show's made for.
Exactly. And Jesus almighty, be understanding that God forbid society evolves and it's not everything that you want it to be. Yeah, we should go make America great again. Go back to where it used to be. Oh yeah, where it used to be. Yeah, it was so good for everyone back then. So great when women couldn't vote. And we had, it was so great when we had to literally have, Jim Crow laws. Oh, that was so great. Yeah. Yeah, that's so great. Oh yeah, gay people could be arrested for just literally being gay, or they could be
good old days.
The good old days. Yeah, that's the good old days. Yeah, hell no, hell to the no. These people are foolish. These people are insane. Let's just do our final thoughts, and then we're gonna end off our podcast. Dredians, I want to hear your final thoughts overall on the episode, and then just hearing this, like your overall final thoughts.
All right. So, if you'd ask the question, like, should we see more stuff like Gonzo-Rella, I'd say absolutely. Again, the best way to introduce kids to LGBT themes is to teach them tolerance in general. You don't need to educate them on, like, every last iota of queer history. Just show them that some people are going to act or present themselves differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a saying, making a mountain out of a molehill. And that means you're making a big deal out of something small. And I think that's what, as you were just able to tell with all these comments we read, that's what these, like, conservative and bigot oppositions are doing with the Gonzo-Rella episode. It's really not that deep. It's just teaching kids to be more self-confident about their identities and accept other people for the identities they choose too. It can be queer-coded, but not necessarily. Like, a straight boy can wear a dress. He don't gotta be gay. We just mentioned Harry Styles. Girls can be knights. They can wear pants. They can... It doesn't have to be gay. It does mesh with gay themes. It helps children be more tolerant towards gay people, but it doesn't have to be gay. And these, like, butthurt, Fox News people are clearly, like, overshooting the message, and they're making a mountain out of a molehill. It's not that deep. People will say the gay agenda is seeping into everything, but the truth is, we're just normal-ass people that have always been around. And a child these days has just as equal of a chance to see a gay person out in the open as they do a pregnant person or a person with a different skin color. And if that banned Bluey pregnancy episode means anything, it's that society as a whole has become so intensely anti-sex and anti-free expression that anything that goes against norm is immediately sexual and deviant. But it's real life. You can't censor real life, or else your kids are going to grow up to be confused and scared and unsure of themselves and the world around them because you failed to show them that appearance and behavioral diversity is completely normal, and that's on you, the parent, not some Muppet show you put on TV.
Exactly. You hit it out of the park. It's just, we have to be totally understanding that these little shows, while yes, there's queer codedness in it, it's not inherently just super like, oh, we're making this thing to make little kids watch this and become gay or become trans. No, it's just about being different. And like what Jordan said, it's something that so many queer people can relate to because we are different. We are different to people. We already, like we said, we read a pamphlet that literally said normal people and gay people because we're not normal to their societal baloney, right? So again, like, this is not even to make any kid gay or trans. It's just to be accepting that, hey, there are people who are different, and we should be understanding because, we don't want to hurt their feelings. Because look at Gonzo. He didn't want to make anyone upset. But in doing that, he made himself feel bad because he just wanted to be himself. And it shouldn't be a problem to be ourselves in society. It should be okay. As long as we're not hurting no one, it's okay. I don't care. Wear a dress. And like I said, it doesn't make you non-binary or trans, but it could also mean that too. And doing something, who cares? Just do it. If it makes you happy, do it. And it doesn't hurt no one, do it. You want to wear a dress, you want to wear this, you want to wear that, go ahead. Express yourself how you want. Because, we got to understand something. We live in this world one time. That's it. We live on this earth once, and then that's it. Then we're done, and that's it. How are we going to live our lives, hating ourselves or being sad, like, oh, I don't want to do something that's going to make someone upset? No, we only have so much time on this earth, so we better live it to the fullest by being ourselves, being authentically us. Because what else are we going to do? We're going to be someone else? No, we can't be anyone else. We can only be ourselves. So these stupid Fox News feckless heifers, right, these insane people need to get off their damn computers and go outside. Right? And you know what they need to do also? Hey, you know what y'all need to do? You need to actually know some gay people, know some trans people. Because so much of these beliefs, so much of this crazy crap is because they don't know a damn gay person, they don't know a damn trans person, they don't know anyone. They just they just go on their computers and just say, oh my god, look at these trans people, look at these gay people, they're just trying to make everyone gay and trans. Like, no, fool. They're not trying to make anyone gay or trans, they're just being themselves. Shoot. And I was going to mention this statistic real quick before we finish off. They did a study years ago, I believe, where I wish I had it with me, but don't quote me verbatim on this. There was a study, gay parents, right? So 2 men, 2 women, whatever the case is, they have kids. Their kids grow up, guess what? Most of the time, what? Straight. Wait, but they should be gay because, they're surrounded by gay people. No, just having gay parents doesn't make them gay, right? Because people think any exposure to this will just make them that. No, that's not how society works. That's not how people work. We don't just see something and then become it. We're not freaking iguanas or whatever the heck they are. We're not chameleons. Chameleons, yeah, that's it. Chameleons. We're not chameleons.
We're not iguanas either.
When we see a gay person, we're like, oh, we're gonna just blend in and we just become that too. No! Oh, there's a straight person, we're gonna become that. No. That's not how it works. We're not just surrounded by something to become it. Just like when we're surrounded by straight people, we're not just becoming straight because we're surrounded by them. So we have to understand people will be different, and it's how it is, it's how society is. And guess what? Most of us don't got a problem. We don't even care about that, the fact that we're different. It's y'all that have a problem that make it a problem and give us hell, give us stress. And that's why, the suicide rate of LGBTQ people is so high. Not because of, oh, they do this or they do that. It's because you make our lives hell. Just shut the hell up and stay in your damn corner. Jesus. Let us be. Let us enjoy our media. Let us enjoy even media that may not be totally intended for us. Let us enjoy it and just shut the hell up. You don't like it, change the channel and shut the hell up. Period. Oh, people get me riled up because they're insane. They're just literally insane. They're insane. You can't rationalize with these people. You can't, because they literally think you're evil and they will, oh, you're woke, you're evil, you're this, you're that. It's like you can't rationalize with them. They're just insane. Quite insane. But yeah, that's the end of our episode of Gonzo-Rella. Me and Dredians enjoyed it a lot. We definitely recommend watching it on YouTube. It's available on YouTube. You can easily watch it, easily accessible. You don't have to go on pirate it or go on some, something like Netflix or Disney Plus. You can I think watch it on Disney Plus, but it's also available free on YouTube. Just easily watch it, give it a watch, and then tell us what you think about it. Because we want to know. We want to know what you think. But we enjoyed it so much, and we enjoyed talking about it, and we're definitely gonna do more of these, talking about queerness in children's media. So I think one of the future ones we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about Blue's Clues, because that was another big thing that happened during, I believe, 2021, where people were going nuts about Blue's Clues having some gay and trans representation, and then also a drag queen, Nina West, was shown, and people were like, oh, hell no, a drag queen in my child's show? So we're definitely going to be talking about that in a future episode.
Yeah, and if there are any, children's media with queer themes, whether explicit or, implied, recommend them to us. We'd love to talk about them and share our thoughts.
Oh, totally. Because also there's, I remember even Peppa Pig has two moms on it, and they showed it, and it's really cool. So, if you have any ideas, you could easily email us where we're going to get into our ending information. Jordan, I talk so much. Would you mind doing the ending information for us, please?
Sure, honey. All right. This has been the Gamer Agenda Podcast. Thanks for listening to us, and here's where you can follow us. You can follow us on Instagram, The Gamer Agenda. You can follow us on Twitter, @GamerAgendaPod. That's pod spelled P-O-D. We've also got a Facebook page, The Gamer Agenda. And if you want to email us, podcast ideas, episodes of children's media to talk about, if you're interested in guest starring on our podcast, you can email us at thegameragenda@gmail.com. You can find our podcast all over the internet, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Anchor, and anything where you can find a podcast, you can find our podcast on there. As for me, you can follow me on Twitter @Dreadians. That's DREADIANZ. The Z is there because I am a cool and edgy girl. You can follow me on Instagram, same name, @Dreadians. I post a lot of art and share video game stuff. And if you want to send some money my way and help support me as an artist and support the podcast, you can send it on my Ko-fi. Again, that's Dreadians, DREADIANZ.
And for me, you can follow me on Twitter @SpiderStarU and on YouTube SpiderStarU. And hey, if you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you give the video a big thumbs up. And then of course, if you want to send some money my way, you can do that through PayPal. My PayPal is paypal.me/Michael William Chavez, and you could just throw $1 my way. It would help me out so much. I'd really appreciate it. All right, guys, that's the end of our episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we can't wait to give you some more juicy podcasts in the future. So until then, see you next time. Bye.
See ya.